2020 Democratic frontrunner Joe Biden reportedly feeling burned by his former boss. According to Vanity Fair, the former VP is upset over Barack Obama meeting with other potential 2020 contenders like Beto O'Rourke before he's officially made his decision. A Biden spokesperson pushing back against the story, calling it unequivocally false. Biden may have some other obstacles in his way. A new poll showing 59% of Democratic and independent voters are excited for someone entirely new to run for president. Biden comes in second, followed by Bernie Sanders and Beto O'Rourke. And 70% of those same voters say Hillary Clinton should not run again. President Trump going after Democrats, as we have more of that? No, we don't. Is that just a poll? Okay. Well, the teleprompter is working very well today. Mari Harf, now that you're here, I don't think, even if Biden were upset, I don't think he would say so, because it's just obvious that Obama is going to have to meet with lots of Democrats going into 2020, right?
Yes, and I actually don't think, Joe Biden is an adult, right? He's been in politics a long time. He and Barack Obama are very close. I don't think he is probably very upset about this. It's interesting, though, in that poll, 59% want someone new. I think that we see that in both parties, right? That's how we got Donald Trump. But Joe Biden was at 53%. So Joe Biden knows that he is very popular in the party. He's popular among independents, and Barack Obama is going to have to meet with lots of people. I do think you will see President Obama trying to keep his powder dry a little bit and not really wade into what will be, 25, 30 people in a Democratic primary here. No. But if Joe Biden wants to run, Joe Biden will have a lot of support among people like Barack Obama, even if he doesn't endorse him. He was his vice president for 8 years. I don't think he's mad about Beto getting a meeting. Like, he has thicker skin than that.
Yeah, but he was his vice president the last election as well. And we know that the party leadership, as well as the president, all did the garden meeting saying that, he wasn't going to run. And this was all because Hillary Clinton was the chosen candidate.
Right.
And so
That's not why Biden didn't run.
I do think that he will be frustrated if the president doesn't get behind him. Of course, he's a policy. He understands that the president, he's a former president, has to meet with all the candidates. Yeah. But the former vice president is going to be expecting President Obama to get behind him, because he did step aside and let Hillary Clinton run.
It's not easy to tell somebody that maybe it's not, that it's past their time, right? It's not easy to tell someone that. We're not elephants.
It's, you see the word cult of or the phrase cult of personality about the Republicans, that the Republican Party is now a cult of personality and it's all about Donald Trump. I think that is not true. The cult of personality is the Democrat Party. The cult is Donald Trump, but they're an anti-Trump party, and that's all they are at this point. That's why they need a new personality. They're desperately in search of a personality, because they think that Trump is all about personality. He's not. It's really about policy. They liked his policies, not his personality. They didn't want just someone new, Marie. They wanted Donald Trump. It wasn't anyone new. And so they are searching for, that's why Beto is such a big thing, because they're not really sure about, why they like him, but they think he's a personality that can take on Trump. That's all they want.
They just want someone who's got a little spark. Morgan.
Maybe, I'm really looking forward to this primary, because as someone who was in the Republican primary, it was vicious and awful. And this looks like the Republican primary times like 1,000. Like, just get out the popcorn. I can't wait. What's ironic to me is how the Dem activist base is sort of freaking out that the top 3 people in polling are all white men. We've seen a lot of people that have a problem with that. And the Republican Party has been criticized nonstop by Democrats for being the party of white men. And anytime you opposed a policy of President Barack Obama, it must have been because you're a racist. And now the women and the minorities that are going to be running for president are going to be turning that around on their fellow Democrats. It will be interesting for me to see how Bernie, how Biden, how O'Rourke answer that white male charge, which is like almost worse than being a criminal in the Democrat Party right now.
I think what's interesting is what frustrates me about fellow Democrats is they're looking for a savior right now. They're looking, and that's why they look at Beto, because they just want someone who's the perfect candidate and a perfect package.
Well, they had one in Barack Obama. So.
Exactly, and he won twice, overwhelmingly in one states like Indiana, right? The Democrats need to compete in. But I keep telling my fellow Democrats, we don't need a savior. The primary process sometimes works itself out. It sometimes puts forward a candidate that can win in a general. The Republican primary was insane. It put forward the candidate that could win in a general election. Same with Barack Obama in 2008. Sometimes these processes actually work. They weed out people who aren't good.
I got a question, though, for you, Marie,
exactly.
because
That's right.
Tell me just about, logistically, how you think things will change when California moves earlier for their primary because there's so many delegates then? Does that change a lot?
That will change it. Also, the fact that superdelegates, these party elders who were given a lot of power in previous Democratic primary nominating processes, they helped anoint Hillary Clinton, for example. They have much less power now. So the power's been pushed down to the grassroots activists. Democrats in Iowa are different than Democrats in New Hampshire and South Carolina. Nevada now, no longer a caucus, now a primary. These things seem very wonky, but they actually matter when there's going to be a very hotly contested primary.
Right.
That's why you're going to see candidates go to Iowa, go to New Hampshire. You already are. This primary is starting like now.
The generational struggle in the Democrat Party is sort of a fascinating one as well, because in a presidential election, they rely so much on those younger voters that didn't show out for Hillary Clinton, especially younger women. And the generational struggle just isn't about their 2020 nominee. It's look at the angst that was geared towards Pelosi and towards Schumer, people who are in their 70s and have been in leadership for a long time. And I think you're sort of seeing the base of the Democrat Party, especially the young people, say, it's our turn to lead. It's our time for leadership.
Well, one part of the Democrats' problem they're going to have is that authentic leadership, because there's a lot of candidates that weren't as far left when they were in other offices. When it came to Beto, he voted for legislation to essentially dismantle Obamacare. He's been for a few and less taxes. Exactly, because a lot. And Kamala Harris, she's all of a sudden for criminal justice reform. She didn't govern that way when she was the Attorney General of California. And so as it gets heated, and let's be clear, Biden is an experienced politician. He is not going to play fair with them. He's going to go after every single thing that they did. And that's where you're going to see that experienced leader. That's why I said right now, when it comes to the Democrats, he's the only candidate that has a shot in the running because he has been that consistent leader.
But look, if you looked at poll numbers, Tom, from this time in 2015 or 11 or 7, we would be talking about a whole different group of people.
Yeah, and all the numbers have to do with Trump. That's the whole thing. Even her 70% don't want her to run. They're mad at her because she lost to Trump. Like, that's why her numbers are so low.
Like, don't show your face around here again.
Yes. And I think they will forgive everything. Policy, none of it matters anymore. They will forgive Beto, the inconsistency.
Oh, I don't think so.
If they think he has the person, I don't think they're right.
Well, even the Bernie Sanders people are not like solid Bernie people right now, right? They're sort of saying, you're going to have to court us a little bit.
Well, and to Morgan's point, it's a good one. There will be a debate in the party about people saying, look, we just need to win. And someone like Joe Biden or Beto, they can win. Versus this, but we need to win with a fill in the blank, woman, minority, progressive, whatever that blank is. And you're going to have Democrats who say, job number one is to win. And we need to figure out how to do that and take care of the rest later.
You know what was interesting to me in the poll that we were all looking at earlier, it actually had 41% of Democrats thought that Bernie should not run again. And so for me, when you see Bernie and you see Hillary, I sort of, well, first of all, he's not even a Democrat.
He's not a Democrat.
Sort of weird.
That all the time.
But, for me, instead of trying to Tanya Harding, Beto already in the process, why isn't he, thank you.
That was good.
I Googled that to remember her name earlier today. But why doesn't Bernie sort of say, I've set forth this more liberal agenda for the party, and I'm going to help bring up people like AOC and Beto and others and bring up the next generation, but because it's not really about that. It's about he's selfish. It's about power more than it's about ideology. They're all so power hungry.
But
they can't even leave a movement and step aside and let someone else.
I disagree in a way because that new movement, that is where the energy is.
Part of it,
yeah.
Not all of it.
And so there was a time, even people on the right, and I said this yesterday on The Five, that we would laugh at the Ocasio-Cortez, but they're winning. And it's not just her that's winning. There are incremental changes that they want to make. And I think the Democrats have to take them serious. They are the Freedom Caucus of the left.
But they're only winning in certain places. And the way we took back the majority in the House was by winning moderate seats in Kansas City and Savannah and Detroit and Denver. All these places, we took back the House with moderates. A lot of the attention goes to the progressives, and that's the fight you're going to have.
It's going to be fun. We got to run, guys. Do you have any last thoughts, Tom?
No, I mean, it's
Biden 2020.
I agree it is going to be fun. We'll see what happens.
All right, we will see. That's my favorite show.